Greetings, friends. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you being here. Today's topic is intuitive eating, discovering the power of your own inner nutritionist. Intuitive eating, I have to say, it's a great topic. It's interesting, it's juicy, it's timely. So in this conversation, I'm gonna spend some time breaking down really what intuitive eating is, why it's useful. I'm going to present to you a very easy 5-step process for intuitive eating. I'll talk a little bit about some of the simple science of intuition. I'll mention the 3 obstacles to successful intuitive eating, and we'll also talk some topics about the connection between intuitive eating and personal growth. So let's just jump in. A very simple definition of intuitive eating. It's the practice of tuning into one's intuitive knowing to best determine what to eat at any given meal. That's intuitive eating. It's the practice tuning into myself so I can best determine what food ought I eat at any given meal. Definition of intuition, very simple. The ability to know something without analytical reasoning. That's what intuition is. It's our ability to determine something, to know something without analytical reasoning. So why is intuitive eating useful? Why is it important? Why is it worth talking about? Here's the thing. If you look around and if you're interested in nutrition, if you're interested in health, if you're interested in, what should I eat, you've probably noticed that there's a lot of different dietary systems out there. There's a lot of different nutritional approaches. And oftentimes they all say something different. They're all being presented by some expert, some smart human being, some doctor, some PhD, and they have scientific proof of why their nutrition system works, but so many of them are in opposition. So we can find experts talking about why you should eat a vegan diet, why you should eat a vegetarian diet, I don't know, why you should eat a raw food diet, why you should eat a paleo diet or a keto diet, a high protein diet, a low fat diet. There's so many variations on a theme. And if you're like most people, you listen, you look, you read, you're smart, and you say to yourself, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to eat? Intuitive eating actually cuts through all that because it is tapping into your inner nutritionist. By the way, please feel free to say hello in the comments section. Let me know where you're from. And you can also feel free to post questions there and I'll try to get to them. So here's the thing. We live in a time of information overload. You can spend from now until a year from now Googling nutrition, Googling nutrition and health, Googling diet, and there's endless amounts of free information that's going to be happy to tell you, here's what you should eat, here's what you shouldn't eat, here's the good foods, here's the bad foods. And the reality is there's more information coming out. And in times of vast amounts of information, such as what we live in now. We live in the information age. We live in the digital age. So in times of vast amounts of information, my friends, the value of wisdom goes up. And your intuition is a form of wisdom. It's a body wisdom. It goes beyond the noise. It goes beyond the rational mind. That's why I love it. By the way, thanks for saying hi, Agnes from Canada. Hadley from Kansas, I appreciate you coming by. Somebody's coming by from Frankfurt, Germany. Guten Tag, thank you for being here. So let me also say this. I'm going to soon get into the 5-step process of intuitive eating, but I just want to give you a little bit of background first, just to bolster our understanding of it. Intuitive eating assumes, check this out, it assumes that there's not one single perfect diet fit for all humans for all time. And the reason why that's important is because there's this background belief that there must be a perfect diet. and there must be the perfect expert who has found the perfect nutritional approach. And all I need to do is find the perfect expert who has the perfect nutritional approach. And once I eat that perfect diet, I never have to do anything different. Perfection implies sameness. It implies no change. It implies I don't have to do anything. Once you find the perfect diet, the perfect partner, the perfect relationship, everything stays the same. You're perfect for the rest of your life. You'll live forever, and there's nothing to think about and nothing to talk about. And let me just sum up, 45 years of nutritional searching and learning and teaching by saying what I've noticed is there ain't one perfect nutritional system. In fact, there's a whole spectrum of nutrition. In fact, intuitive eating implies metabolic and nutritional uniqueness for each human being. Let me say that another way. There are as many useful nutritional approaches as there are people on the planet. So in other words, the perfect diet for you lives in you. And that perfection is actually not lifelong, because if you think about it, you've been on so many different diets throughout your life. We change, the body changes, it ages, health changes. At one point you were in your mama's womb, you had a quart of basic nutrition coming into your belly. And you pop out of mama's womb, and now you're eating, now your food is mother's milk or it's bottled milk, and then at some point it's mushy food. Our diet changes. You've been on so many different nutritional approaches. Loretta, thanks for coming by from the UK. Asking, I wonder how people can come back to intuitive eating after they've lost it and maybe are eating processed high sugar foods. You know, what a great question. We can come back to intuitive eating at any point in our life. Intuition is a learned phenomenon. We learn it. And in fact, we get better at it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's sort of like you haven't been on a bicycle since you were 12 years old. You start getting on, you start pedaling, and you begin to remember it. It's all about practice. It's all about giving yourself opportunities and building momentum. So, intuitive eating, where does intuition live? Is intuition even a thing? So neuroscientists pretty much agree that yes, intuition's real. Yes, it's a thing. Yes, we can learn it. And we don't have an exact science for it. Many scientists believe that intuition operates through the entire right side of our brain, and in the brain's hippocampus and throughout our gut. That's one group of scientists. Another group of scientists is going to say that the axis of intuition is in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, right there. For sure, it's probably a combination of all those. It's certainly intuition has a locus in the gut, in your digestive tract. We call it the enteric nervous system, ENS. People often talk about, I had a gut feeling about that guy. You don't say I had an elbow feeling. You don't say I had a kidney feeling. Why do we say I have a gut feeling? Because there's a tremendous amount of nerve innervation that's found in the gut. There are as many neurons in the gut, in your digestive system, as there are in your spinal cord. 100 million neurons. So all that's saying is that there's a tremendous amount of intelligence that lives in the gut. That intelligence is scanning the nutritional profile of every meal that you eat. It's helping determine where to reroute nutrients, what to do with them. It's helping determine when you're full, when you need to eat more, what you ought to crave. Additionally to the nervous system innervation that's found in the gut, we have a ton of essentially neuropeptides, neurochemicals that are found throughout the gut. Scientists estimate that about 90% of the body's serotonin is produced in the gut. About 50% of the body's dopamine is produced in the gut. So in other words, just a lot of intelligence there. And our job is to learn how to access that. One more piece about the science of it. A lot of neuroscientists theorize that we evolved to use certain bodily cues that we normally don't pay attention to, but we use them very intuitively and unconsciously to make choices and to make perceptions. So in other words, there's certain moments where you can actually, you're tracking your own muscle tone, your own heart rate, your own blood pressure, your own hormonal and endocrine activity. Am I stressed? Am I relaxed? Does this person make me feel easy, comfortable? What's going on in this moment? And we take all this information, we take these somatic markers, and we translate these unconscious sensations and unconscious emotions into an intuition. Oh my God, I like this person. Or, oh my goodness, I should be cautious about this person. So, and in many ways, when I talked about intuition being something that you develop, something that you practice, intuition essentially builds upon itself because you notice patterns in your lifetime. You notice the foods that work for you and the foods that don't work for you. So then when you go into an intuitive eating moment and question yourself, question your body wisdom, what should I eat? You have a lot of information that you've built up if you've understood that certain foods you're a little sensitive to, or certain foods you're allergic to. So let's get a little more practical. Very practical level. Intuitive eating is simply about asking questions and listening for answers in a very non-analytical way. So the analytical way of, what should I eat? Well, let's see. What should I eat? I want to lose weight, and better not eat the sugar, better not eat the fat, better not eat a lot of food, better not eat the bread. Let me just eat the vegetables and let me not put any dressing on it. Whatever you tell yourself. So that's the analytical mind coming in. Or the analytical mind will come in and say, well, I just read that dairy is bad for you. I read that meat is bad for you. I read that animal food is bad for you. So really, maybe at this meal, I should only eat plant food. Or I'm on a paleo diet, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, what should I eat? And I automatically go into my list of paleo foods. And all that's fine. The analytical way of determining what to eat is very useful. Actually, the combination of intuitive and analytical is probably the sweet spot. So, intuitive eating implies that you are willing to be a nutritional explorer. It implies that you are willing to be in a conversation of trial and error, trial and success. Sometimes you're going to hit the target. You're going to question your body. Hey, what's best for me to eat in this moment, at this meal, for this snack? And you come up with the answer, peanut butter and jelly on a cracker. I don't know. And you eat that and it doesn't feel so good. That's information for you. Maybe that combination of foods doesn't work for you. Maybe it's not so good for you to have that on an empty stomach. Maybe it's not so good for you to have that with the big meal that you just had. So intuitive eating, it's a practice. You're not going to get it perfect. So then part of it is listening for feedback. So really, there's this beautiful, I think, connection between intuitive eating and your own personal growth journey, because intuitive eating, if you think about it, it's about self-trust. Do I trust my instincts? Do I trust my intuition? Do I trust myself when I tune in? So it's about learning to empower self. It's about learning to listen to your body. In order to listen, you got to slow down. Listening doesn't happen at high speeds. If you want to be in a conversation with somebody, you can't be flying across the room. You can't be doing a drive-by when you're talking to that person. You got to stay in one spot. You got to be near them, or you got to be on the phone, and you have to be focused. In other words, you have to slow down everything going on in your universe in order to be a true listener. In order to listen, we have to slow down. A lot of us are moving fast. We're taught to move fast. The world is moving fast. Intuitive eating is about tuning into the nuances of your body. In order to tune into nuances, we have to be available. We have to be present. We have to be aware. You can't be distracted. And when I say it's about self-trust, here's the thing. It's not trusting that you're going to get the right answer every time. and you're going to just only eat the foods that are perfect for your body. When it comes to self-trust and intuitive eating, it's trusting that if something doesn't work, if your intuition wasn't on target, trusting that you're going to recover from that and you're going to continue the practice of intuitive eating. I don't know, it's no different than if you're learning how to play tennis and you miss the ball or you hit it over the fence. You got to trust that, hey, you keep practicing, you're going to learn. Not, oh my goodness, I'm trying to learn this. I made one mistake. I didn't do well hitting the ball the first time, so that means I should give up. That means there's something wrong with me. That means it doesn't work. No, it's trusting that you could stand by yourself and keep moving forward in your practice. So in a lot of ways, intuitive eating implies a willingness to let go of our nutritional do's and don'ts. Because we all have our nutritional rules. You have your rules, chances are, about these are the good foods, these are the bad foods. And you may very well have identified these are foods that work for my body, these are foods that don't work for my body. Actually, let's hang there for a moment, because that's a challenge for a lot of people. Here's a great exercise. When you finish listening to this conversation, I would love for you to write down a list of all the foods that are on your good for me to eat list and all the foods that are on your bad for me to eat list. And I just want you to notice them. Because what happens is when we have a list of good foods and bad foods, where the mind tends to go is that the good foods are sort of morally good. If I eat these foods, I'm angelic, I'm a good person. Good people eat good foods. Angelic people eat, I don't know, sprouts and carrots and tofu or whatever it is. That's goodness. And bad foods, when you tell somebody, don't eat that food, it's bad for you. Usually what people hear is, oh my goodness, I'm a bad person if I eat that bad food. So there's often a flavor of moralism that gets attached to our good foods and bad foods. So I don't usually think of foods as good and bad. I like to think of food as which foods work for your body and which foods don't work for your body. Because there's a lot of experts telling you right now grains are bad for you. Tell that to the hundreds of millions of people around the globe right now who grain is what they subsist on. And grain is what various grains are what their ancestors have subsisted on for generations and generations. Oftentimes, our understanding of nutrition is very limited, it's very primitive, and we don't really take it within context. So intuitive eating is asking us to be willing to let go of our do's and don'ts because, sometimes your intuition might tell you, God forbid, to eat the ice cream. And the reality is sometimes you want ice cream. Sometimes ice cream is going to hit the spot. Sometimes ice cream is the perfect thing for a human being. I mean, look how much ice cream is on the planet. It's there for a reason. Now, you might have a sensitivity to dairy. You might have a big challenge with sugar. Okay, fine. Let it go. Let it go, meaning you might choose to say, I'm not going to eat foods that have those ingredients in them. That's understandable. You might have celiac disease where you cannot tolerate gluten. You might have the kind of food allergy where you cannot tolerate milk or lactose, or you can't tolerate citrus or eggs, tomatoes, strawberries, peanuts, whatever it is. Understandable. And there's oftentimes a list of foods where they're not going to kill you. The chocolate's not going to kill you. The dessert's not going to kill you. And we're not always aware of how much our moralism inside of us, oh my God, I'm going to be a bad person if I eat that food. It's on my bad list. It's on these other people's, it's on this expert's bad list. Therefore, if I eat it, I'm a bad person. Got to let go of that. So Jamie's saying, I find it very hard to identify if certain foods affect me because I'm eating multiple foods in a meal, not in isolation. Absolutely. What a great point. It is hard to know. And that's what makes it so interesting when you and I become nutritional explorers. Meaning, can I see if I can tease out, what's the ingredient in the meal that I intuit worked for me or didn't work for me? Oh, yeah, I ate out a dinner with somebody and I had these foods on my plate that normally work for me, but then I had this other food that I might normally have at home. I might not normally order for myself, but it was on the table and I ate it with the meal. So a lot of times we bring in the logical mind, we bring in the analytic mind to help us understand and give the body feedback. So it's sort of like, I don't know, if you're in relationship with your partner, your husband, wife, your child, your parent, you don't always understand your parents. You don't always understand how to relate to them. You don't always understand your partner. They don't always understand you because there's a lot of complexity to relationship. But over time, you learn more, especially if you're inquisitive, especially if you're noticing, especially if you're listening, especially if you're engaging in the relationship. You learn about the other person. Well, the same thing with your own body and the same thing with your body's needs and desires when it comes to food. You learn more about it over time. So I think it's helpful to let go of just sort of getting it right and embracing being in your flow. Letting go of right and wrong and simply noticing what works for my body, what doesn't work for my body. Now, what does that even mean? What works for your body, what doesn't work for your body? Here's an interesting question to ask yourself. And I'm going to shortly get into the 5-step process, the actual nuts and bolts of what might intuitive eating look like. So a great question to ask yourself is, in the big picture, in my relationship with food, what do I want from food? What do I want from food? Meaning, do you want it to give you health? Do you want it to give you pleasure? Do you want food to give you energy? Do you want food to give you the right body and the right shape? Do you want food to give you lots of brain power? Do you want food to... Usually that's what people say. Usually when I poll people, what do you want from food? It's some combination of I want it to make me feel good, i.e. give me pleasure, make me feel nourished, make me feel, yes, that's so great. So it fulfills you and makes you happy. At the same time, you want it to give you health and you don't want it to give you unhealth or dis-ease or symptom. I want food to give me the ideal body. I want food to give me lots of muscle, not too much body fat. And I want it to give me energy. I want it to give me brain power. I want it to give me focus. And I want it to give me long life. Usually some people are somewhere in there. And Hadley says, I want food to be nice to me. So many foods are seemingly cruel and painful. Yeah, that could be so true. And you know something? Sometimes foods aren't nice to us. And that's when we're able to say, if a food isn't nice to me, I can say in a very dispassionate way, I don't want it. I don't want people in my life that aren't good to me. I don't want food that isn't good to me. I don't want anything that's not good to me or for me. I really don't. And yeah, sometimes the foods that give us the most immediate pleasure are oftentimes the foods that might make us feel bad afterwards. And it's, once again, that's you learning to be in relationship with food. Meaning, yeah, there's certain foods that give me instant gratification. Instant gratification is what the teenager in us wants. It's what the child in us wants. It's what the infant in us wants. I want immediate gratification. I just want food. I just want to eat this food. It's going to make me feel good. And I don't want any repercussions. I don't even care what the repercussions are in the moment. but we kind of do care what the repercussions are. Because then when we get sick, or then when we get ill, or then when we start to gain weight because I'm eating a whole bunch of this food that I know, this might be participating in my unwanted weight gain, we realize, oh, immediate gratification might not be the way to go. And it's literally learning how to be with ourselves, learning how to be in life and postpone gratification, meaning choose a way of being now that might not give me the biggest pleasure in the moment, but over the long term, it's going to give me what I want, which is sustainable health, potentially put me in the sweeter part of the probability curve for a longer life. So let's jump in and let's talk about a 5-step process for intuitive eating. I'm going to just name the 5 steps, and then I'm going to come back and just dive into them. Step number 1, get quiet. Step number 2, breathe and relax your body. Step number 3, ask your body a series of questions. I'll go over those. Step number 4, listen and assess, meaning once you've asked those questions, what do I think? Based on the answers I'm getting. Step number 5 is to get feedback after your meal. Let's break those down. Step number 1, get quiet. Silencing the mind is key for letting your intuition come through. That's just the way it is. If you want to listen to some beautiful music and you play your beautiful music, you're not going to be able to hear your beautiful music or enjoy your beautiful music and receive the benefits of that music if you got the TV on and the radio on and there's a bunch of people screaming in the background. Just doesn't work. Intuition doesn't work if there's noise. Now, that noise might be in your outer world, in your immediate environment, and that noise might be in your inner world. So if I'm in a moment where I'm really stressed and I'm really anxious and I'm thinking a whole bunch of thoughts and there's a lot going through my mind because I got a lot to consider and a lot to worry about, it's going to be hard to tune into intuition. Intuition thrives in quiet. So once you can start to create quiet in your outer environment and move towards creating quiet in your inner environment, you take that a step deeper by breathing and relaxing your body. Breathing will relax your body. So for me, it's long, slow, deep breathing. 5 to 10 long, slow, deep breaths will tend to put most human beings in the direction of a physiologic relaxation response, parasympathetic nervous system dominance. You're quieting yourself more, you're relaxing the body using the breath. Every brain state has a corresponding breathing pattern. The breathing pattern of stress, what is it? It's shallow, arrhythmic, it's infrequent. The breathing pattern of relaxation is regular, rhythmic, and deep. So when you start to breathe like a relaxed person, regular, rhythmic, and deep, you actually become relaxed. Your brain sends signals into your body and says, wow, I was stressed a moment ago. I was kind of anxious. I'm breathing like a relaxed person. I must be relaxed. So we literally, central nervous system, brain will send signals throughout the body telling it to relax. So right then and there, you've just put yourself in the ideal state for intuitive thinking, for intuition to come through. So that might take you a minute. It might take you 5 minutes. It might take you 30 seconds if you're good at calming your mind and getting quiet. But the calming the body, the deep breathing, relaxing yourself. How am I sitting? It might be good to put yourself in a seated position and just notice what you need to do to just let go of a little bit of tension. And from there, step number 3, ask your body. And here's what I would suggest for you to ask your body. What am I hungry for right now? Another way of saying that is, what food would best serve me and nourish me in this moment? And how much of that food might be best for me in this moment. So, what am I hungry for right now? What food would best serve me and best nourish me in this moment? And how much of that food might best nourish and serve me? Simple but powerful questions. I want you to notice and hear one of the questions is what food would best serve me and nourish me? Underline that word nourishment for a moment. Highlight that in your brain. Nourishment. What happens is the discerning, analytic, left brain, scientific mind, which is necessary, it's just a part of who we are. It's a part of humanity. It often dominates the conversation. And we're going to often be thinking of, well, this food has more vitamin A in it, this food has more protein, this food has more fat in it, this food has more this food has a little more toxins in it, this has a little more gluten in it. Okay. And we get lost in a scientific nuance, in a nutritional distinction, when we ask ourselves what would nourish me in this moment. To me, the word nourishment supersedes nutrition. The word nourish, if something is truly nourishing you, I believe it is nutritional for you. I believe it's the right nutritional choice, even though on paper, it might not seem like the right nutritional choice. So in other words, I firmly believe that there are many foods. I don't know, you could have a Coke, you could have a Pepsi, you can have an ice cream cone, you could have a piece of cake, and I believe that there are moments in life where those foods will literally be nutritional. You can have a glass of wine, and there are moments in life where that food is literally nutritional. You can have a meal that has fried foods in it, and in certain moments, that meal is literally nutritional for you because there's a sense of, wow, this is really going to nourish me. This is really going to relax me. This is really going to make me feel good. Somehow my body's just calling for this. And sometimes, the amount of pleasure that we're receiving from a meal supersedes whatever the nutritional drawbacks are of that food. Digestive system is very interesting. Digestive system tracks the mind. We talked about the enteric nervous system. There's literally a separate yet interconnected nervous system in your gut. Esophagus, stomach, gallbladder, liver, small intestine, large intestine. Separate yet interconnected nervous system, and it's communicating with the head brain. They're talking to each other. And we're human beings, and we need pleasure. We need food to feel nourishing. We need food to feel good. We are oftentimes elevated metabolically by a food that we have a certain memory, positive memories about. Your mother used to make it. Your grandmother used to make it. You used to eat it when you were a kid. Somebody, you had it on a date once, whatever it was. So we're asking questions. What am I hungry for right now? What foods would best nourish me? And you listen for the answers that come through because you were quiet, you relaxed yourself, and you notice the answers. And as the answers come forth, you listen and you assess. My intuition's telling me that for tonight's dinner, we're going to have Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And you might go, I don't know if that's the right intuition coming through. Maybe that's not even my intuition. Could it be possible that that's the best meal for you that night? Sure. Is that probable? Maybe not. Maybe not. So you're giving yourself the opportunity to assess your intuition with a little bit of your analytic mind. But at the same time, there's a dance there. At the same time, I'm inviting you to be in the dance between what intuition says, how your body seems to be talking to you, how body wisdom seems to be talking to you, and what your analytic, scientific, nutritionally trained mind has learned and what it has to say. And at some point, make a decision and stand by it. So as you listen and assess, make your decision and stand by it. So if your assessment is, okay, tonight for dinner, I'm going to have waffles with maple syrup and butter. And I'm picking these odd things because you know something? Anything goes sometimes. We're very conditioned in a certain way to think this is the way I should do it. By the way, there's a lot of people sharing the love. Thanks so much. Thanks for the appreciation. Yeah, I appreciate it. So we're throwing convention out the window when we're listening to nutrition, listening to intuition and what it's telling us about nutrition. And sometimes your intuition might be very almost standard, and your intuition is telling you to eat, the textbook things that you would have thought are good for you. Yes, I need a salad with this meal, and I need a protein, and I need a starch. And that might be perfect for you. That might be perfect for you to eat for weeks on end at dinner or at lunch. I don't know. Every body is different. There's all kind of research that shows that a high carbohydrate meal eaten in the morning will, it's for some reason, this is an oft repeated bit of research, that you eat a carbohydrate only breakfast, bunch of fruit, pancakes, waffles, bagel with jam. Eat a carbohydrate only breakfast with juice. You'll tend to crave carbohydrates and sugar and sweet throughout the day. If you have a breakfast that's more focused on fat and secondarily protein, you won't have those cravings throughout the day. And yet, there are plenty, and I've noticed that that's true, and there are plenty of people out there who eat a carbohydrate-only breakfast, and it's perfect for them. It's perfect for their body. So that's why intuitive eating is such a brilliant strategy, because it can circumvent the mind. It circumvents our conditioning. It circumvents what culture has taught you, what the world has taught you. You must do it like this. I don't know why I'm having this memory. My son must have been 6 years old, and one morning I said to him, we're having ice cream for breakfast. And he just lit up. He lit up. He was so happy. He hugged me. I don't know. It was the greatest moment of his life up till then. And I don't even know what possessed me to say that. And what I learned from that moment, and he thoroughly enjoyed it, and everything was great. And no, he didn't eat ice cream for breakfast every day for the rest of his life. But there was something about throwing out the rules. Like, here's how we do things. But occasionally we don't. It's kind of how life works, We have consistency in so many areas of life, and every once in a while you might cut loose somewhere. You might do things really different somewhere. A different part of your personality comes out. And whatever drawback ice cream at breakfast might have for the human body, the joy that it brought my child, the bonding that it gave us, the lesson that it taught him, which is that your father is an open human being. And even though I've got my rules, yeah, we'll stretch them every once in a while. We'll have a little fun. We'll mix it up. Life has interesting moments. Life has excitement. Life has surprises. And yeah, we can do that. So, okay. Step number 4 was listen and assess in answers to the questions of what should my body, what does my body want? What am I hungering for right now? What would best nourish me? Step number 5 is after you've eaten the food that your intuitive eating brain told you to focus on, listen for feedback. How does your body feel 20 minutes later? How does it feel an hour later? Just remind your brain to ask that question. How do I feel? An hour after that meal, a half hour after that meal. How do you feel, I don't know, later that evening? How do you feel the next morning? I've gotten to the point where I can notice how the meals that I've eaten today might affect tomorrow morning, how I feel when I wake up. Because I'm constantly listening for feedback, I'm constantly cataloging the information and just noticing, because it's interesting to me. If you, once again, take away good and bad, take away, oh my God, I shouldn't have eaten that, I'm a bad girl. When you take all that away, there's a sense of freedom really comes through. Now, I want you to notice something. Intuitive eating, in a strange way, you're asking, what should I eat? So it's focused on the what to eat. But I'm wishing for you to balance that out with, how should I eat? So it's not just about what you eat. Okay, my intuitive eating tells me to eat rice and beans. It's not just about the what to eat, it's how to eat. It's who you ought to be as an eater in that moment. Because a lot of times what's really happening is that we need to be present to our meal. If you're going to get the benefit of anything that you eat, you need to be present. You need to be aware. You can't be tremendously multitasking. The more relaxed you are, the more you will receive benefits from the meal, the more you will feel pleasure and nourishment from the meal, the more you will nutritionally absorb the vitamins, minerals, macronutrients, micronutrients in that meal. So, good to have your intuitive eating muscles focused on, how should I be as a person in this meal? Do I need to be really quiet in this meal? Do I need a meal where, you know something, I just don't want to eat alone. I just need to share a meal, or I just need to go out and eat. Or, you know something, I just need to be quiet and cook myself something simple. And you're not even focused specifically on the what. You're focused on the experience that's being called for. You know, I need to be cooking this meal and letting go of stress as the kids are running around in the kitchen and screaming. And I just need to relax into the chaos, whatever it is. So I want to mention that, you know, the obstacles, I've kind of said this before, but I just want to mention 3 obstacles to successful intuitive eating. One is stress. And when I say stress, you can substitute the words anxiety, fear, upset, anger, stress. If that's present, you will not be able to eat, I don't know, certainly you won't be able to fully access your intuition. Intuition tends to be revealed when the body and brain are relaxed. You could be really stressed out and be very instinctual. The brain can make quick survival decisions when we're in a stress response, but to make an intuitive decision, we need quiet, we need time, we need relaxation. So stress can interfere, self-doubt can interfere. Oh my God, my intuition tells me to eat this, but I don't really know if that's true, and oh, I don't even know if this works, this is no good. Or, oh, I followed my intuition, but I'm not even sure if that was the right thing. I can't even tell. So, and then we just go into the doubt neighborhood. And it's fine to be in doubt. Just don't stay there so long, you know? Stay there a minute. Stay there 2 minutes. If you stay there for hours, knock it down to 15 minutes. If you stay there for minutes, knock it down to seconds. And understand that this is a practice. You're just learning how to get better at it. And the way you learn how to get better at it is to keep doing it. And you're always asking for feedback. You're always listening to your body, and you're collating information. You're being a fascinated scientist of your own body, not a dispassionate scientist. You're being just the kind of scientist who's excited about his exploration into, hey, my body's unique. This is a whole different genetic creature than what anybody else is. What's good for it? The other thing that gets in the way of intuitive eating is when our overall relationship with food is being driven by toxic beliefs. Those of you that know my work have heard me talk about toxic dietary or toxic nutritional beliefs. Examples of a toxic nutritional belief. Food is my enemy. Why do many people believe food is their enemy? They believe food is their enemy because they're trying to lose weight. Weight loss is the key thing that they are looking for from their relationship with food at this time. And it is abundantly obvious from everything we learn in nutrition and nutrition science that it seems that if I have extra weight, that extra weight is body fat, and that extra body fat comes from eating food or comes from eating too much food. So the fat on my body comes from the food on my plate. Therefore, if my body fat is my enemy, then the food is my enemy. And if food is your enemy, you will not be able to, number one, be a successful intuitive eater. You will not be at your peak metabolic efficiency and power because the toxic belief called food is my enemy creates an ongoing stress response. It creates ongoing anxiety, creates ongoing fear at every single meal, which means when you're at a meal and you're believing in the back of your mind, food is my enemy, food is my enemy, you're literally in a physiologic stress response. More insulin, more cortisol. Those two hormones will signal the body to store weight, store fat, not build muscle. The opposite of every weight loss enthusiast wants. So we have to decouple what should I eat? The question, what should I eat? The intuitive eating question, what should I eat? We have to decouple that, separate it from the demand that we're placing on the body to lose weight or not gain it. So here's what I want to say. If you want to lose weight, or if you want to not gain weight, you know that and your body knows that. You've made that wish. The universe knows it. Your body knows it. So if you're going to tap into your intuition, you have to let go of the demand, which often comes from a place of fear. You have to let go of the, oh my God, this intuitive eating is all about me losing weight. No, intuitive eating is all about you eating what's right for you. What's right for you and right for your body in that moment. And if it's right for you and right for your body in that moment, then in the big picture, it's going to help you move towards your body's natural health, natural weight, natural shape. That's what I've noticed. That's what I believe very strongly. That when you become your natural self, your body has the best chance to become its natural self. So really what people are looking for is, it's less that people want to lose weight and more that you want to be at your natural weight, which you believe is not the weight that I'm at now, if you want to lose weight. So this is all about languaging. I don't like the language called, I want to lose weight, or I'm working with weight loss. Like, understandable. Instead, I want to be at my natural weight. Because when you say to yourself, when you say to your body, when you say to the universe, when you say to life, that I want to be at my natural weight, you get out of the way. Because you don't exactly know what your natural weight really, truly is. Only body wisdom knows that. Only life wisdom knows that. Only the creative intelligence that created us knows that information. A lot of times what's happening is if you have a specific target weight and a specific goal, I need to lose 15 pounds and I'm going to do intuitive eating so I can lose 15 pounds. To me, you're working against yourself. Because you don't really, you made up a number. You don't know that your body needs to lose 15 pounds. You made up that number. Maybe your body only needs to lose 9 pounds. Maybe it needs to lose 7 pounds. Maybe it needs to be 17. I don't know. But you don't know either. But if you make the affirmation that you want to have a relationship with food where it helps you have your natural health and your natural weight, then we take away so much of the fight and the self-attack. Adriana, thanks for the love. So, intuitive eating is a powerful practice. And I highly suggest that you give it a chance. And Yvonne says, I never thought about releasing stress hormones and cortisol at a meal. Yes, absolutely. And we're in a hormonal dance at every moment of the day. We are a hormonal symphony. And you can be sitting on the couch a little mopey and a little depressed because you haven't had a good day, and all of a sudden your phone rings and you pick it up, and it's a person that you love that you haven't heard from for a long time, or it's a love interest or somebody with good news, and then an instant you perk up. You didn't take any coffee, you didn't take any drugs. Literally in a moment, all you did is hear somebody's voice and your chemistry changes in a second. We phone in a prescription to our inner pharmacy with our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs, and those are powerful. You can't sweep thoughts, feelings, and beliefs under the rug. So the idea is to put ourselves under the optimum state of digestion, the optimum state of assimilation, optimum state of calorie burning, the optimum state of appetite regulation, the optimum state of intuition, all of which is the physiologic relaxation response, which means no self-attack, which means no self-judgment, which means letting go as best you can in the moment of all the worries and all the concerns and being present with the meal. Because the truth is, when you're eating your meal, chances are you're not running for your life, you're not being chased by a lion, you're allowed to relax. There's always more to say, there's always more to talk about, my friends. For those of you that don't know, the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, we have our well-loved Mind-Body Eating Coach certification training, and we are currently enrolling. The application deadline is March 2nd, so it's coming up. Classes for our upcoming training begin on March 8th. So if you don't know about it, I invite you to learn more. Reach out to us at info@psychologyofeating.com. Go to our website, psychologyofeating.com. You can make an appointment with one of our enrollment advisors. If you know you might be interested in the training is by application. So feel free to fill out an application, and I would love to have you join in. We teach, it's an 8-month fully online training. You learn how to work with clients when it comes to weight, body image, overeating, binge eating, emotional eating, endless dieting, constant food worry. Valerie, thanks for sharing that. It's a phenomenal program. Highly recommend it. I really appreciate that. It is a great program. I must say it's very unique. It goes far beyond the typical health coach training program, certainly far beyond a typical life coach training program. It really combines both, but focuses on psychology and nutrition to help us become our best selves, to help us become our best nutritional self, our best metabolic self. So I invite you to learn more about the training and invite you to stay in our world. And if you know anybody who might be interested in our work, please spread the word. And for those of you who don't know, we also have the Psychology of Eating podcast, where I most often will be interviewing clients on air for 45 minutes to an hour, and we do breakthrough work in one session. Also, I will occasionally have interviews with experts, or I'll deliver a little bit of content. Eric, my friend, thanks for coming by. Eric's a graduate of the training. Adriana as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Glad to see graduates and friends, and now I would consider you my colleagues. Glad to see you here. And always more to come, my friends. Take care. I appreciate you coming by.